baby. Welcome. We are live with the most interesting news in the world. August. No, August is over, thankfully, after this August that we had. It is September 6th, 2023. This most interesting news in the world update is different, kind of, because I don't actually have any news. That's it. That's all I got for you. No news. I mean, there is something like China's largest or one of the largest developers in China. I mean, this is months ago. They went bankrupt, and this is like last year. And so for the first time in 18 months, they're back on the stock market in Hong Kong, and they've lost 80% of their value, which is obvious, but they really only put it back on the stock market so everybody that had shorts on it could sell. And, some people are saying that this is the first domino to topple all dominoes of the current financial system. And maybe that's the case. Maybe it's going to be like all the wildfires, whatever. Far more interesting than that, I have an update. We just finished a class called The Beginning of the Revolution. I may have already done one of these. No, I didn't. I was thinking I was going to. The last time I saw you guys was about 2 weeks ago, right before the beginning of the revolution, and now we have done the revolution. Did you notice? Did you see? It was very significant. And that was by far one of the best classes I've done yet. I know I said that earlier last month. But the thing is, it's kind of different because this time you can't buy it. It's not going to be a product in the shop. You can't buy it after the fact. There are no recordings. None of the people that participated in the class can actually download any of the recordings. So it was very different, very cool for me. I loved it. And what else is possible now? So in about a month, very excited, headed to Costa Rica, El Ugar in Costa Rica for the very first 7-day event. Well, it's 6 days, sorry. 6-day event at El Ugar. This is something I've personally been looking forward to since 2014, 2013. So really almost a whole decade. When I first knew about El Ugar, I was like, we're going to make it happen in tomorrow. Really with that energy, probably a hell of a lot more intense. And I was really convinced. I was trying really hard, working really hard. You ever worked really, really hard to bring something to fruition, to make it happen the way you want it? And you're like, oh, I must, and I will control the world to make it work. And it didn't really work when you did that. And then you're like, well, Connor, but obviously it worked because El Ugar is showing up. I'm like, yeah. And there are also other things that show up in life where it's just and a difference there can be, when you're asking for something that you don't find significant, or it's not that you don't put value on it, totally has value to you. It's just you could have it or leave it. You're like, okay. To me, I had made El Ugar more important than me. I had made it more important than anything. And I gave up creating my life in favor of trying to create El Ugar and not even asking El Ugar if it wanted to get created like that. And it didn't. Every which way I wanted to create El Ugar, it didn't want to get created like that. Oh my God. I saw dog. It's kind of like if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend or someone in your life that and you really want to take care of them from your point of view, and you try to give them stuff. You try to do all sorts of stuff for them, and they still get mad at you because they're like, I don't want any of this. And in your head, you're like, how could you not want any of this? Oh my God, this is amazing. But this is what we do. This is where you're not in question, and you're not asking the person or the thing that you're working with, hey, what do you want? So that's going to be our question of the day. If I haven't already done a most interesting news in the world on, what do you want? Which personally, Ugar 6-day event is the fucking most interesting news in the world. Holy fuck. Wow. That is the most interesting news in the world. I don't care what your point of view is. It is. You can fight me all you want. I'm going to be like, la, 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 la. La la la, I don't hear you say, I see your mouth moving and you're not saying anything because I la 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 lugar. That's my point of view. The most interesting news in the freaking world. So, it's almost too like, for me personally, I'm like, wow, it's coming to fruition. Not that anybody gets to just lay over and die and that's done. There's still a hell of a lot of work to be done to like complete it. And it's never completed. Everything is still a work in progress. And yet, since I've talked about it on the most interesting news in the world, and you haven't heard about it before, backing up to some other shows, the Big Five, combination of the Big Five with Ugar and a whole lot of other things, me having Sebastian come into my life, I'm just a lot more relaxed about everything. Relájate, as you might say. Yeah. So the name of the 6-day event at El Ugar is going to be, I think it's the beginning of a new reality. So doesn't that just feel nice? And my new reality has already started to begin. Not that I haven't at least already made like 5,000 new realities in the last 10 years. It's like this one is on like a whole other level that I have not chosen until now, which is very exciting. Oh my goodness gracious. Every single one of you watching this right now and everybody else not watching this right now is going to be so jealous of me in the future for how amazing my life is. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe Connor's life is so amazing. What the hell? Why can't I have that? And I'll be like, I started like more than 10 years ago, bro. All right. A lot of people might already be thinking that. Again, I'm going to revert back to the statement I just said. I started more than like 10 years ago, bro. So, as we like to say in Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. Yeah. Chew on that for a bit. So, golly geez. I am so grateful for this show because I have a totally different definition of what news is because of this show. So for all of you watching, I'm so grateful for you coming and seeing this show because you're showing me, even if you're like, how do you even know if I'm watching? I can tell. You're showing me that there is a different kind of news and there's a different way to do news. So what's some more news I can give you? Well, Simone went to Bogota, Colombia. She also went to Sao Paulo, Brazil. She did a couple of Choice for Possibilities classes. I wasn't there, but that's cool. I mean, that's cool. I'm currently not in Houston. This show is not being shot live from Houston right now. I'm currently in Minnesota, where it's nice and cool. I'm not getting burned alive, but I actually love the heat. Love the heat. Huge fan. Now, why is any of this relevant? It's relevant because, well, it's not, actually. I'm really trying to talk about some new things, but I've really covered the most interesting news in the world. I get that a lot of you might want me to tell you some details about the beginning of the revolution class, but you're not going to get any. And if you do want more from that class, you got to kind of come to the beginning of a new reality in El Lugar. Or at least like buy the online class. And then there's going to be a lot of people that are upset that the online class costs just as much as the live class when they're like, but I'm not using the hotel room like those other people. And my interesting point of view is, yeah, but you're not paying for flights and everything else to get there. And you're not putting the effort in to get there. And you don't have to like wake up and put your body there. You just like, oh, I'm just gonna like lay in bed and like open. So you're like kind of like paying for the ease of use. My thought from your point of view, whatever. I also just always wanted to be in classes like those. I was just always been a big fan of that. What else is the most interesting news in the world? See, to keep talking about what I love about this show is, and I'm looking a little bit away from the camera because there's a beautiful open space field and beautiful flowers and beautiful sky, and I'm just really loving it. And this show is showing me just how not relevant news, like the news that's on television and on your phone, is. Like, it's not actually relevant. Unless you make it so, then it is. So for how many of you that are watching this right now or in the future, is this news actually more relevant to you? And like I started this show off with, what do you want? With regards to news, the most interesting news in the world, what do you want? What kind of news do you want? Let me know. Send me an email. You can always send me an email at Connor, CONNOR, at ConnorJHill.com. ConnorJHill.com. Connor at ConnorJHill.com. Send me an email. Tell me, I hate this stuff. You need to talk about more important stuff on the planet. Okay. And Ugar. Sorry, folks. That's the end of the show. I know it's only been like 10 minutes, but that's all I got for you today. Ugar. Yep. Yep. That's it. Thanks, everybody, for joining the most interesting news in the world. I'm Connor Hill, your host and lead anchor and field journalist for the most interesting news in the world. I'll catch you next time, next Wednesday, same time, same place. Bye-bye. Görüşürüz. Teşekkürler.